Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 31. I had to travel to a city that I didn't know. So what happened was that I traveled there with a friend, an older lady, let's call her Mrs. X, to meet a friend, let's call him M. They were making a music festival and we were going to be part of it. My friend M was going to get us to the bus station. It was a 3-hour trip from our city, so with Mrs. X, we read and talked and slept. She was fine the whole day, but when we got into the city, she started to feel odd, she was dizzy, so we thought maybe her pressure was falling or something. So as soon as we arrived at the bus station, we saw our friend M that took her to the hospital. He didn't acknowledge me, but I thought that was because he was worried about Mrs. X. So they took a cab and went to the hospital. I was left there completely ignored. I really didn't think much of it because I thought he was going to come back. I was with my guitar, so I thought I wasn't allowed in the cab because it was too crowded. So I started asking around people to let me know where the hospital was so that I could get there. Nobody answered me. I remember clearly touching my chest and watching my hands because I felt invisible. But then I thought everyone was just rude there. So I finally figured out where the hospital was. Mind you, this happened around 17 years ago, so no smartphones, no maps. And started walking. The city was small, so the hospital wasn't far. I see my friend M walking to where I was, and I joke about how invisible I am. But as soon as I started talking, I'm right in front of him, and he's talking to himself. My name here didn't come. What are we gonna do? She has the guitar. And I yelled, I'm right here, M. He was seeing right through me as if I was a ghost. I started to panic like never before. Until today, I've never panicked like that. So he takes out his Nokia to call me. Nokia. I had a Nokia, mine was blue. I thought it was so cool. So he takes out his Nokia to call me, and I see right in front of me how he gets frustrated because the call didn't go through. What? I check my phone and it never received a call. So we start yelling to go to the hospital. It's like he hears something because he says, maybe she's already at the hospital with Mrs. X. So he turns around and I follow. I was very careful not to be tempted to walk through something. Really, I was still panicking. As soon as we put a foot in the hospital, he turns around and looks at me and says, there you are, where were you? And I was like, dude, and I tell him everything. He never saw me. Next day, I learned that this city is called the City of Witches. I would have freaked out if someone couldn't see me.